realize that I will introduce you with a title today.
Oh, no.
We talked about
Okay.
this last week.
We did
and
indeed.
I have not forgotten.
Oh, no.
Do you
Okay, go on.
wanna just jump straight into it?
Yeah, go for it. I'm on
Right, cool.
tenterhooks.
Hey, welcome to Waiting for Review, a show about the majestic indie developer lifestyle. Join your scintillating hosts and let's hear about a tiny slice of their thrilling lives. Today I'm introducing Dave, engineering manager of Lightbeam Apps, source code motivational coach, runner-up sexiest man on the WFR podcast.
Runner up, you get.
And engineering chapter lead, brackets mobile, at his day job. My name is Daniel Gilk. I'm a CTO. I'm a JDW and a HOTTOGO. Damn it, I mangled that. At Telemetry Deck. GDW, by the way, means Junior Druid Wrangler, because I am very much an amateur at wrangling druids still, which is something that I'm learning every day these days.
Dang. And if I'm the runner-up, Daniel, I think you must be leading with your bluest of beards just there. Looking
Sorry,
very,
I had to put that in there.
hot. That's fine. I'll tell you something. I'm going to, for a start, damn, I was not expecting you to go there straight up on that with the intro. So, but you've set the bar, and we're going to have to keep thinking of different.
And we're going to limbo
now,
right underneath it next time.
Yeah,
that's what bars
maybe.
are for.
But the thing I was going to say, Daniel, is, speaking of your brilliant visage in front of me here, I saw your pictures on the LinkedIns and other places yesterday
from the award ceremony.
Yeah, and also the day mode, night mode Daniel pictures as well. Like,
yeah, I posted one picture in a suit with like styled hair and everything, and I right next to it I posted the picture the next day where I had jeans, a Telemetry Deck t-shirt, and an ESA sweater or zipper hoodie actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're looking great, looking very well dressed, and you were going out. You were going out to an awards ceremony.
Right. So there is a new award being awarded in this city, like starting this year, for women in business, and you had to like propose people to get in there, and like lots of people like wrote to me and Lisa like, hey, you should nominate Lisa. And it turns out the nomination process was really, really hard. And so no one could actually nominate Lisa except herself, because the form just needed so much information that other people really probably wouldn't have, except if they are a very creepy stalker.
Right.
But after some prodding, Lisa decided to nominate herself, because so many people like wanted to nominate her. And we didn't really hear anything anymore. And then about 2 weeks ago, an email arrives that says something like, hey, you're a nominee for this, for the award. I'm going to say what award in a second. Just wanted to make sure that you're there. You can also bring up to 2 people with you.
Okay.
And so Lisa is like, am I gonna win this thing? I'm gonna win this. And I'm like, that is the wrong kind of way to go there, I think. Because imagine you're hyping yourself up, or we are hyping ourselves up, like, oh, we're gonna win this thing. And then you go there and it's just like a huge disappointment. So I was like, okay, just let's dress nicely and just go there, because there's gonna be lots of like cool people there. There's gonna be feminists. There's gonna be like people in our like, like our circles basically. There will be like bubbly wine. There will be some snacks.
Yeah.
Just treat
Go to
this
enjoy.
as it's cool. It wasn't an art gallery too, so you could like look at art and stuff.
Oh,
And
lovely.
so yeah, so that's what we did. Lisa brought her husband, and I was the +2, I guess.
Yep.
And then they had the award ceremony. The mayor was there. And like lots of like high-ranking business people and stuff. And then they had the awards, and they always would like say a few sentences, and because of that, the award goes to person X.
Mm-hmm.
And they had 4 categories. And the first one was like I forgot most of them. But the first one was for someone who's a manager, I think, like a best manager, uh,
Yep.
best female manager, I guess. No, best female large company owner, something like that. Anyway, like there's a local cosmetic company, and
Mm-hmm.
the new CEO, like the newly minted CEO of that company, is a woman, and she won that thing, and deservedly so. I've heard good things. The company is called Grandel or
Okay.
Grandel, and the CEO's name is Ariane. So he's Ariane Grandel. No joke.
Brilliant.
Um, Next one was there was like best manager, I think. Some HR person that I sadly haven't heard of before, but like she seems cool and everything. Then there was best newcomer, which was someone who works at a local aerospace company, MT Aerospace. They make rocket tanks basically. So like for the Ariane rocket, for example, they make lots of fuel tanks.
Yeah.
And she was like under 35 physicists who has like a huge responsibility and like stuff like really
Dang.
impressive.
Yep.
Um, and there was like also a startup price. And at that point I was like, okay, no, like Lisa's not going to win this thing, because like every like nominee before her that went on stage had like an impact on the city's finances by millions, right? Like these companies are very large. Their
Mm-hmm.
revenues, their yearly revenues are probably double to triple digit millions. um we're not playing in that league yet.
Yep.
But then the guy is like, and now we're talking about a startup, and like data privacy is very important, and it's a company that she's leading with all her heart because she's really into into like having an alternative to data hungry applications like Google Analytics. And I'm like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, ooh.
Here we go.
I'm nudging her husband, and I'm like, when she will get up, like let me out as well. I can take a video for the TikToks later.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, yeah, and she has her fantastic co-founder Daniel Yig, and I'm like, ooh, I think that's me. And so
Mm-hmm.
he awards Lisa Figas the prize for, let me think, female tech pioneer of the year, awarded by the city of
Hey,
Augsburg. And
brilliant.
so yeah, Lisa is now the female tech pioneer of the year. The award, like she went up there, she had a like she like improvised a fantastic speech, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the award is like I want to say 5 kilogram block of glass. It's like a huge
Right.
thing. It's like milky half transparent glass. It looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that thing is heavy. You could bludgeon someone with that thing. So yeah,
Oh, I hope is the award going to be pride of place in the telemetry deck office for
it
this year?
already is. It already
Yeah,
is.
brilliant.
We put it there because it's so. I didn't take a photo though, but I will take one and put it on the
Yeah.
Mastodon these days.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, it is very pretty. It's very elegant. It says like Tech Pioneer of the Year and everything, and it is also very yellow because like the brand colors of this award were kind of yellowish, and so it has
Yep.
this gradient from like transparent, from yellow to transparent. But out of the corner of my eye, it looks like a tall glass of Fanta, which I appreciate. But now I'm thirsty whenever I'm in the office.
Right. Oh, that's going to probably result in you buying some Fanta to have in the
Yes.
office, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This podcast, by
Yeah.
the way, is sponsored by the Coca-Cola company. Not.
I would. I mean, you've got the Fanta orange almost with the telemetry deck orange on your
Yeah.
microphone.
So if Coca-Cola, if you want to sponsor us, let's talk, but the price will be 3 times the normal rate because you are Coca-Cola.
Mhm.
What by the way, there are like various podcasts that are kind of hosted by or organized by the German broadcasting stations, and these are state broadcasting stations, right? They are like journalistically separate from the state, but they're paid for by the
Yeah.
state.
Okay.
And so like various, like, I don't know, like cultural podcasts, comedians, stuff like that, they are on these
Mhm.
podcasts. Like they and the thing is, you don't really notice, and it's pretty cool actually. But one thing they kind of have to do is they are not allowed to promote individual brands or companies or stuff like that. So whenever they talk about something like cars or whatever, they will always like say something like, for example, I drive a VW. But of course, there are other fantastic car brands. Like, for example, there's Volvo and there's Cadillac, and or they say something like, "Yeah, I use Google Analytics." But of course, there's other analytics tools out there, like Telemetry Deck.
Yep. Yep.
And so, yeah, of course, there's other perfectly good fizzy drink companies out there, like that make really nice yellow lemonade.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't forget Vimto. Um, but I don't know if you know Vimto, Daniel. It's a
I do
very.
not.
It's not an orange drink. It's a purpley sort of drink, and it's a very British thing.
Also,
But
kind of tasty.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
I'm getting a tiny
Uh,
bit thirsty just now, even.
well, I'm thinking maybe I should have mentioned Iron Brew rather than Vimto as an alternative orange drink. But
Yeah, I always thought that was like, just from the name. I always thought it would be beer, but it's not, right? It's
mhm,
lemonade
it's made from girders.
from girders.
Anyway, yeah. It was a whole thing in
Of
the
course.
90s. They did an advertising campaign that way. And yeah, anyway, I was very little before I realized it was just a joke. But no. Okay, well, awesome news on Lisa's award. Um,
Right. Lisa was on
definitely get
stage.
your
I'll be on
office
stage
Fanta in.
next week as of time of recording, but by the time you hear this, I'll have given my presentation already.
Yep.
So I can actually name the title. The title is The Root of All Evil, because it's about premature optimization.
Yeah.
And apparently, not everyone knows this quote. Like, I was like big in my circle somehow, but like, there's this computer scientist, like very early days computer scientist, Donald E. Knuth, who
Mm-hmm.
wrote the LaTeX typesetting language, but also lots of books on compilers. And he said premature optimization is the root of all evil, and had very strong opinions on it. I think has like I don't think he has expired or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. I still gotta
Great.
finish my
Well,
presentation though.
is it something we're going to be able to link up in the show notes?
Probably not. Like, they don't have recordings in if they don't seem to have recordings. I'm gonna ask Lisa to record parts of it and then put it somewhere. But
Yep.
if it is a success, if it's a success, I can totally translate the whole thing to German, to English. I mean, and then just
Mm-hmm.
like present it again at another conference.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably should. But anyway, I look forward to hearing how that's gone, Daniel. It's been a while since I've presented anything like that, and
Yeah,
you're reminding me it should be on my to-do list, I think, to sort of
yeah.
talk
It's
about
it's been
certain
a while
things.
for me too, but I'm kind of slipping into it just as well. And
Awesome.
yeah. Other than that, like, I had a pretty stressful week. So like
Yeah.
Lisa's award and like looking forward to the conference are kind of my two high points. Like,
I can see a note. We often talk to the show notes. We have a shared note that we
just read the
put.
note, and I will not elaborate. Just read the note, and we'll just not talk about it.
Yeah, the note just says Daniel hates servers.
And that's why I'm the junior Druid Wrangler, because at some point I will really need to I will really need to hire a senior Druid Wrangler. Anyway, I
So
found a
tell
new
me what the
failure mode.
servers have been doing to make you hate them this time.
I have this um like we have this concept of a calculation queue, right? So whenever like you ask the server to, or like when you in the UI want to display a chart, that query needs to be calculated. So the query gets put into the queue, and the server kind of just like pushes like does one query after another, pushes that to the Druid, because otherwise the poor thing gets overwhelmed. But the queue is shared between instances of the API containers. So that job that runs that kind of works on the queue kind of runs directly in the API containers. And now I'm kind of building up a new infrastructure, and that new infrastructure has the same database already, because we have already switched over to the new database without so many people noticing.
Mm-hmm.
But it has a different caching server where the results will
Okay.
then be placed. And so what's happening? Well, what was happening today was that someone would go onto like the normal telemetry dex website and run a calculation. That calculation would be put into the queue, and then a um, a runner running on the new infrastructure would be like would pick it up from the database, execute it, run it, and then put it onto the new caching server where the old API server couldn't access it. So that was so frustrating and
Right.
so hard to debug. Now
Yep.
I've separated I have separated the queues and dotted the T's and crossed the I's.
Is this what? And yes, dotted the lowercase j's. Is this one of those scenarios where you've kind of literally crossed the streams in terms of how you've set it up, or
Yeah, like
yeah?
there are a few things that just need to be centralized in this architecture, and one of them is just the main database.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out inside of the database, um, the different queue workers need to have their own queues, and luckily that was not hard to do with the architecture that I have, but it was hard to find out, and it was like very
Yeah.
stressful. Like I have like one or two gray hairs now. Yeah,
So is this uh, old man yells at server
clouds,
infrastructure? Yeah,
clouds.
clouds.
Yeah, the other thing that really frustrated me today was a customer that has decided not to become a customer. Like we've been chasing a few pretty large customers, and one of them today decided that after like talking to them for a few months, that actually we're not in their budget, which is very disappointing. So that's like extra
Right.
frustrating. So I'm really happy to have like the good news that kind of balance these bad news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a shame. And I mean, obviously, you win some, you lose some. It's going to go like that, but it's still frustrating after so much time being invested towards it, I'm sure.
Yeah. And but I think the good thing is I can go back to doing more on the technical side again, because I think like software quality has really slipped the last few
Mm-hmm.
months, and I need to right that ship again. Like there's never enough time in the day, right?
No, no, and
But
you can
and
always
like
use
this is a
time
recurring
back.
theme. This is a recurring theme, right? Like you have this pendulum, and the pendulum has been in the sales and marketing side, but now it really needs for me to swing back. Lisa will stay on the sales and marketing side for now, because
Fair,
she's
fair.
getting really really good at it. Like she's been good to begin with, but like just she's been putting so much work into that. It's fantastic to see.
Yep. Oh, that's great. And I mean, I think that's what practice makes perfect. That's the sort of thing that I can see both of you really dialing into now, in the time that you've been working in this way.
Mm,
But I'm
cheers, man.
glad for you. Glad for you to be able to focus on the technical stuff for a little bit now, because I know it gnaws at you when the pendulum swings too far one way.
Right, because I see that like there are errors and problems and bugs and paper cuts and stuff, and I really want to be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I want to work on that, but I need to also look at the bigger picture, right, and see like, hey, the company needs new customers to survive. It
Yep.
needs to we need to increase our revenue just to not go bankrupt, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, customer acquisition has to be the name of the game.
It
And
does.
so, on
It
the one
does.
hand, that means like chasing medium to large customers because, like, if that works out, then you have a huge payoff, and that's really cool. On the other hand, it means like also focusing on the indies and the SMEs, the small and medium
Yes.
enterprises,
Yes.
um, because those are way more nimble, like, and they can really decide on like they don't have a 3 month process basically. They're just like, hey, let's check this out, and
Yeah.
then 2 days later they're like, okay, let's try it out for a while.
And they're
And
almost in
so yeah,
the passive end of acquisition, right? In terms of your actual hands-on and time that gets chewed up. I mean, they're not passive. You've still got to work to get folks to you and to support them through that with the materials so that you've got the website and everything else. But then that's you've done it. You can then update those things later on, keep looking at that sales funnel. You're not directly having meetings and going over X, Y, and Z that they
right,
need
right,
because they're finding that for themselves,
right.
right?
I mean, yes, but one thing that we started to do because like people have advised us to do so is really sharpen the customer profile that we're going after.
Mm-hmm.
Not as like not excluding anyone, but like just like we have we have one chance to like, well, not one chance, but like we have a limited budget to really get the word out for advertising, and also time budget, like with like just on being on social media, stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
so we've been advised to go like, okay, to really find out like what are right now, not like in the long term, but right now the best customers for us, or maybe even in the long
Mm-hmm.
term, but like don't optimize don't optimize too prematurely. um,
Yes.
and the answer that we come back to is just like indie developers and small and medium businesses, because these are the people that we are already really well equipped to handle, and they love
Yep.
us most of the time when they're not super annoyed at error reason dot starts with not found. Um,
Yep.
and so yeah, and so one thing that Lisa has been doing is she's been talking to our customers. Like she's been scheduling interviews with some of our more like bigger customers, but like still that are very much in that indie slash SME
Mm-hmm.
like target group. Some of them were like podcasters that I really like to listen to, and I was a bit starstruck.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, but and so yeah, what she came back with was the privacy thing is really really cool, especially because it means less hassle. So that's one important thing for our customers. That our user interface is pretty good is another thing, but there's also been criticism that it could be better, which I agree with. But one thing that
Yep.
everyone praised, and one thing that everyone was like, that was kind of the reason why they tried out telemetry deck in the first place, was the ease of integration, like the fact that you can literally take 4 minutes of your time and then just get
Yeah.
started, and then like start collecting data. Like, okay, there might be app store submissions in between, but like the amount of work
And
is really minuscule.
it's funny you mentioned that because um, I mean I've integrated telemetry deck ages ago. It's there right at the start. Um, I saw the warnings on the websites about using an out of date library.
Mhm.
Updating was easy. I literally just updated the Swift package. But I think the thing I wanted to just mention was that you've got the Revenue Cat integration
Right.
documentation. And I was looking at that like, do I really want to do this? This looks fiddly. And then I read it through and I'm like, that's not fiddly. I'll do that this weekend.
Yeah, I think I want to update the documentation page to make it look as easy as it really is, because I think the
Yeah.
documentation page looks a bit complicated, but it really is
Mm-hmm.
easy. Like, so I'm gonna have a look at that, and also I kind of need to write a blog post about that, because it's not officially announced, but it's like out of beta, like really, because it just works,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but
So
one thing that
I
we really
definitely
did
want
with
that.
that information is we updated our landing page once again. I'm gonna
Oh,
share it with
sharing
you here.
screen in progress. Yes.
And so yeah, we have a new like slogan at the very top of the landing page, which is
Awesome.
analytics in minutes. Just
Hey.
because apparently that is one thing that is really interesting about us.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is we've decided, because like like people tell us, like some people tell us, you like I was able to integrate this in 1 minute or 2 minutes, and other people talk about 10 minutes, and we've decided
Yeah.
to go all in on saying 4 minutes everywhere on the website, just because it feels realistic. Like the amount of work that you really need to do is like just like drop in a Swift package and then like copy paste the
Yep.
code. Um, and but it also feels like very specific, like exactly 4 minutes, you know.
Yeah. I love
But
that.
yeah,
I love that.
it
Remember
is
what was it, the 4-hour work week? You've got the 4-minute analytics drop. That's
exactly.
yeah, I love it. Um,
But let's
although
see how it goes.
the meme the meme rotted part of my brain is offering up Homer Simpson going 4 minutes, but I want it
I wouldn't
now.
know.
Yeah, but
Exactly
that's
that.
great. That's really great, and I think focusing in on your immediate user base, on the companies and people that you really I guess I'm putting words in your mouth here, but I'm saying like the people that you really love working with and have been consistently
It's true
working
though.
with. I think that's a really good idea, and it's a yeah, how can I put it? It's a lean into playing to your strengths, playing to your immediate base. Makes a lot of sense to me, and it's also part of what I've loved about Telemetry Deck as well. Is that I've got my apps, got everything I've got going on with my indie app dev, and Telemetry Deck. I know you, of course, and that helps. But Telemetry Deck is the analytics service that kind of resonates for me,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
because
And I want to keep it that
playing in the
way.
same sort of space.
But
Yeah,
more people need to know about us. So I think at the end of this
yeah,
process, there's going to be some sort of advertising or outreach or something.
yeah. Well, I think speaking to your customers, and I assume, am I right in thinking Lisa is actually, literally speaking to some of your SMEs and indies and folks,
Mm.
like maybe there's something there if people were interested in doing so, in terms of like small interviews with folks that can actually go out on social media and that side of things. It would be
Yeah, I mean, we've been
interesting to
doing these
see.
case studies, and those are really
Yeah,
cool. But those are like text only, so we could totally do like a little podcast, basically.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. It doesn't need to be a big thing. I'm sort of thinking something that lets you highlight what people love, and the things that have really resonated. That it's 20-second, 30-second grabs that go out on social media just to sort of illustrate
Yeah,
these things.
I'll think about it. Like
Um,
I'll chuck it over to Lisa when I meet her tomorrow. No, she's not in the office tomorrow, so we're gonna be I meet her through a screen tomorrow. Um,
hybrid working. Um,
hybrid, very family
but
friendly. Apply now.
you,
Don't apply now. Actually, we
I,
don't have the money to pay you right now.
um, talking about customer acquisition, and I looked across at my whiteboard that I've got nearby to me here in the office, because for my apps and everything I've got going on with my video mixer with GoVJ, um, I wrote on the whiteboard a whole bunch of stuff the other day about how do I want to close out 2024. Um, and it's a similar pendulum switch, right? Is that I've got at the top of there, I want to land the audio reactive feature that I'm building. Um, I also want to update the onboarding part of the app. I actually think that I'm getting people to install the app. I show them how to use it as part of the onboarding. I show them the paywall that explains, so it makes it clear this is a paid experience if you want everything. But what I'm not doing is really doing anything to capture customer intent at that point.
Right.
And I think that's actually probably for me something that I should be doing. And I've thought about this for years. Um, and it's kind of a thing that I want to do. So rather than me going, boom, you're in the app and now I'm going to hit you with everything it can do, I'm probably going to surface some sort of screen that comes up and sort of says, well, hi, this is video mixing app. What are you here to do? And it'll give some options like, hey, I'm a DJ looking to run visuals for my show. I'm putting a party on, or I'm a band, or I'm a VJ, something like that. Probably some top 3 or 4 sort of personas, and then an other that might be some sort of text entry that's like, please tell us, which I can route through potentially through Feedback Bulb, the feedback service I'm using. And then we go off and into the app, and I can say, oh, here's how to use it. Skip this. I want to get straight into it, etc. But it's the thing I've been thinking about, because I have a funnel, if you like, with the app. I get so many downloads a month. People boot it, and then if I look at the percentage that then actually buy anything or carry on using it, it drops off a bit of a cliff. And that's normal,
Yeah, I
right?
think so too.
People kick the tires, they install stuff, they go, yeah, not for me, move on. And that's fine. But I feel like I might be missing something in that side of the process. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
maybe putting something where people can actually, tell me what they're there to do will help me to understand
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds
things
like
I
a
can
very
do.
good idea.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that. So again, that's a bit of dev, but it's shifting towards thinking about customer acquisition.
Oh,
And
so
then
I'm going back into dev mode and you're like switching to marketing.
yeah, a little bit. I mean, I've got plenty of dev to do as well on the side. Like, so this is and I really want to stand up a test flight version of GoVJ Pro. I think I might just go into some sort of fugue state over a weekend and do
Oh,
that.
those are the best though. Those are the best though. Those like weekends
Yeah.
where you're like, okay, I have no pressure because no one expects me to do this thing. Like people expect me to do
Yep.
15 other
Yep.
things, but this is not the
Yep.
thing that people expect me to do. And that is when you get your absolutely best work done. I love those so much.
Yes. Yes. Complete jack move or whatever in terms of things where you just go sideways for a second. But yeah, that's probably, to be honest, that probably will be how GoVJ Pro gets to a test flight version. Lots of coffee, and lots of leave me alone for a couple of days, music blaring. Um,
Absolute hyper focus.
yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. That's there, but really the focus is on these acquisition things, and I've also then got a list of potential vlog posts, because this is a thing I've been doing now for quite a while, where I'm building up a persona on Instagram and TikTok where I talk about the app that I'm building, um, and interact with users. And I guess it's customer acquisition ultimately. I mean, it's kind of user feedback and product development as well. But I've got a bunch of ideas of things that I actually want to do that what seems to be really actually working out well over there is showing people how I use the app, showing people what they can make it do.
Even
Which
me, like
sounds like,
I don't want to do VJing, right? But I see these
mm-hmm.
videos now that you're starting to do, and I love them. It is so cool to actually see the things because I'm like maybe it's because I'm not in the target demographic or whatever, but like just like seeing the thing in use is like so cool. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Look at what it can do. So
Yep.
100% yes, please continue doing these videos. I think also they're going to really help like sell people on the idea of what your app does and like give them a way
Mm-hmm.
better idea what you can use it for.
Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, I'll be doing it. So some of the things on there are kind of bit show and telly. Quite, I want to do them because I think I'll find them fun as well, which is the best overlap of this sort of stuff. If I look there, I've got one that is how I made a Bluetooth MIDI adapter. So I've got a
Mm-hmm.
MIDI controller that's wired, and I've put a Raspberry Pi Zero on it, and
Mm-hmm.
then I can access it over Bluetooth. So a little bit geeky, but I'm kind of going to show like the 3D printed case for the Pi
Oh, nice.
Zero, and how I pulled it all together. One of the ones that's going to be quite fun to play with is on the iPad. I've got video in because we've got the camera input API there.
Oh,
And
I was like so ready to ring the NDI bell. I don't have an NDI bell, but
no,
by this time I
no,
probably
no.
need one.
Every time I mention it, no.
Ka-ding!
So I've got a USB microphone, and so I'll hook up the USB-C hub that I've got. I can plug it into that, and then not microphone, sorry, microscope.
Ooh, that's even cooler.
USB-C, yeah. So USB microscope hooked into the video app. You can get some really funky video effects by just zooming in on day-to-day items.
Oh yeah, I
Very
can
much a
totally see that.
yeah,
That's really cool. Question though,
yeah.
like how much time does one of these videos take, like from start to finish?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I try and spend as little time on it as I can, in a sense of just making it easy for me to do.
Right.
Um, so when I record any of the sort of vloggy, me talking to people kind of posts, tends to be run and gun. Like I'll put the camera on. I've got an idea. I've got something I want to talk about, and I kind of run through that in my head for a couple of minutes before I go and actually record. Then I record it. So it's, anywhere up to a minute and a half's worth of yapping. And and
Speaking of
then
Gen
that's
Z
kind of,
slang.
yeah. And then that's it for the actual recording. Then all the effort is about pulling it through onto the Instagram itself. I'll let it do its auto captions. I tend not to go and correct them. I don't particularly care if it's got them wrong because they're a guide rather than having to be literal to some degree. Um, tell a lie. If it's got Go VJ's name wrong, I tend to correct that. But um, and yeah, add a caption, write some bits. It's probably like all in all about 15 minutes worth of work.
Oh, wow, that's really good. Like
Yeah.
because I'm asking because like that is my problem. I started trying to do TikToks and
Hmm.
I spent like a day on one TikTok and I got 38 views.
Oh, yeah.
It
No.
got
So,
38 views because of different reasons, I think.
mhm.
But still, like I spent way too much time. Like I made a TikTok basically on how do I migrate all my data and settings to a new phone using
Yep.
encrypted backup because that's kind of the best way that we know these days.
Yes.
Um, iPhone to iPhone, not just
Yep.
generic phone. Um, and I took so much time because I needed to capture video off my computer, but also off the phone. So I took screen recordings. I took of my
Yep.
phone, screen recordings of the new phone, screen recordings of like the process on my computer, various like B-roll shots, and then I wrote like a whole script and kind of read that, and then
Yep.
I actually used DaVinci to actually like cut and splice the whole thing,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
I uploaded it after a day of work, and it got banned for community guideline violations
Why?
because I used the word transfer, and the AI categorized me as a financial scam.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it
Yeah,
said like
that's rough.
I did appeal that, but that does take a day, and the algorithm very much like prioritizes newness, and so if it sees a
Hmm.
video that's a day old, it's basically a dead video.
So you're
And
better off
Lisa,
deleting it and redubbing the word transfer into something else.
oh, maybe like I actually like, I tried like so many times before I even got to that stage that I got a reason for the rejection. Like I uploaded the
Hmm.
thing like 3 4 times, so that I was like, okay, I'm gonna not gonna risk the whole account just for one video.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
a bit peeved because
Hmm.
Lisa uploaded that video, and that video has now over 100,000 views. Like same
Okay.
account, like the just one video before about
Yep.
unpacking the iPhone,
Hmm.
100,000 views. Gosh darn it!
Yes. So maybe
It's really
maybe
well
it's
made though.
probably,
Like it's really well
yeah,
made.
yeah.
Oh, but still, I am peeved.
I can understand that. I have no great salient insight here on how to do this, other than I would say to you, my approach with it, the motto I sort of seem to be aspiring to, is kind of run and gun. Right.
Yeah,
So
I've been thinking
yeah.
about that, but I think most of the things I want to talk about or would like to talk about
Mhm.
are not run and gun. They either need
Yes.
a bit of research or they need a bit of preparation so that it's really is smooth. Because I don't want to make short form video where I have like 30-second waiting periods in between, like where I kind of look
Yep.
for the thing I want to click next or stuff like that. So
Yep.
either I kind of just record everything and then I kind of cut it together, but then there's a cutting process,
Mhm.
or I kind of like think about what I want to say before and write it down and then kind of prepare some things. But yeah, that's not. So I'm still looking. I'm still experimenting.
I have
But
a
thanks for the
suggestion.
reality
Sorry,
check
go on.
because yeah, I do want to spend about half an hour or so or max on a video and not a day because I don't
Yeah.
have that day.
Yeah, Dan, I think that's the thing, right? It's got to fit in. It's an additive exercise, not your day job. But I have a suggestion for you if you're open to it, Daniel. Um,
Always.
so all of what you've described is quite you like to make a technical video to make something that sort of walks people through that sort of stuff. Um, it will be involved. It will take that amount of time to sort of cut it and make it good. I think it could be better for you to maybe put that energy into writing a blog post instead. Um,
I'm really good at
so
writing
it's,
blog posts these days.
yeah, yeah, and
But I want
then
to I want to add I also want to be on the platforms where people are, you know.
but what I'm thinking is make the blog post right. So that takes up your mental space in terms of laying out the content and actually really getting the topic down and writing something that's really useful to people. It lives on. It's on your platform. It adds to everything else you've got for telemetry deck, so that's good. It's got a long tail on it in terms of what the content is. Um, and then because short form video is so ephemeral, one thing you could do is you could actually screen share walking through your blog post to some degree. You could talk through
Hmm.
that blog post rather than trying
Yeah.
to have it literally walk through the entire process. You could you could do a thing where you're talking through some of the blog post. Maybe you put a few bits of B-roll or other bits in, but use it to then storyboard a a quick overview that works
Yeah,
for
that could
short
work.
form video.
I have a confession to make.
Go on.
I forget which is good because I'm daring people to find the blog post that this applies to. Um, I told you about something that I did for Telemetry Deck a few months ago, and I was really
Mm-hmm.
excited about it. And so I told you everything about it, and then I realized I also needed to write a blog post about it. So I actually put the whole transcript of the podcast into ChatGPT. I think it was ChatGPT, maybe another model anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and told it, "Hey, like write a blog post about this. This is how I write because I gave it like a few
Yep.
paragraphs of like what the style should be, and
Yep.
also like some background information, like we're a telemetry deck, da, 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 da. And then I spit out a reasonable blog post, not really good, but like a good starting point. And that
Yep.
was a really good starting point to really like iterate over that and like just like make it into a good blog post.
Okay.
Um, which was actually a pretty fun experience because telling you things is actually something that I really like.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love
Yeah.
that as an approach.
Yeah.
Um,
And of course, never put like just like raw AI like text on the internet. It's just like it feels very
slop.
recognizably AI.
Yep.
It will include like weird hallucinations, stuff like that. But as a starting
Yep.
point, it was way better than just like starting from nothing. And so
Yeah.
I touched every single sentence in that thing by the end, but it was a really good starting point. So I like that.
That's cool. I can see that is good as a process in terms of getting you away from it gets described as the tyranny of the blank page.
Right. Exactly.
Because you've got something then to pull at and to form into what you need it to be. And yeah, you're absolutely right. You shouldn't just take what the AI has spat out and post that straight to the net. Um, the detectable tone of voice, I kind of describe it as it's like the text version of the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, You can tell.
Yeah. Also, with the I've listened to a bit of the podcast project where Google where you can like give this is a Google um, prototype basically where you give it like a large number of texts and it will just like create a summarizing podcast, and it's like horribly uncanny valley. It's like ugh.
Yeah. Did they have like the AI generate laughter and little bits of ums and ahs and things as well? Was
Yeah,
it
yeah,
that
totally.
one?
Like it at first glance, for lack of a better word, it really does sound like an actual podcast. But like if you like after a few sentences, it's like something is off about this.
I can foresee a version that then, sorry, linking back to what you mentioned earlier in the show about the public broadcasters that cannot mention one brand without mentioning another. I can foresee a version of that that gets used to go to do the opposite. And then it's like a Truman Show style dropping in the product in the middle of the generated
Oh yeah,
podcast.
totally, totally. I mean, products are doing that right now. Even like MKBHD, like famous YouTuber,
Mm-hmm.
recently posted that products are now using his voice, like an AI version of his voice, to talk about their like products. He
Oh,
posted
God.
one of those. Like it's like a
Yep.
video, and it's
Yep.
like I forgot what it was, like some technical thing. And you see it from the POV of a person, so like that is looking down at their
Mm-hmm.
hands and playing with the gadget or whatever it was, and you distinctly hear MKBHD's voice like
Yep.
talking about the product, which he never reviewed though. And that is just because like people associate him with like let's say journalistic integrity and like
Yep.
a fair review of things, wallpaper apps notwithstanding. And
Hey, I
so
can't fault
yeah,
him for the wallpaper app, to be honest. But
I'm just joking. um so yeah, like of course it works. It's just like really skeevy a word? I
yeah,
think it's a word.
yeah, skeevy's kind of it's a slang word. I understand. Yeah, kind of scummy, not cool.
Scummy, yeah,
Uh,
that's what I
mm,
was looking for. Scammy even.
but scammy, yeah. I mean, I can see it. I can see it because yeah, you use the voice generation. It's not literally trying to portray him himself, but people associate. It's sort of thieving his brand really to do that.
Yeah.
Um, what a world. But ah, Daniel, I
Ah,
need to go do the things. We're at that point in my day in my morning. Um, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to love you and leave you this time, dude.
oh, I love you too. And I mean, to be fair, you are the sexiest man on this podcast.
Oh well, now my ego is boosted. Ending on a high note. Um, yeah, but Daniel, read me the outro, mate. Let's land
I
this.
will. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Please rate us on iTunes and YouTube. Send us emails at contact@waitingforreview and join our Discord. The link's in the show notes. Dave, where can people find you?
Ooh, good question. So, as I've mentioned it a lot on this show, let's link my Instagram in the show notes. And my Instagram username there is lightbeamapps.com. That's DOT.com, all one word. You can find me on the Mastodons and the Feddies at dave@social.lightbeamapps.com. Um, awesome. How about yourself, Daniel?
Yeah, me. You can find me by going to telemetrydeck.com, then scrolling down all the way, and then you either click the Mastodon button or you click the merch button and then buy some telemetry deck t-shirts.
Ooh, is that a real thing? Can I do that?
That has been a real thing for months, and I just realized I haven't been promoting this at all. It's just
Just
a
t-shirts?
cooperation
Do you
with
have?
it's like
Do you,
basically the whole Cotton Bureau range. So we have
yeah, yeah.
mugs, t-shirts, beanies, whatever.
Beanies. You have
I
no
think
idea,
like
Daniel.
they have beanies. I assume
Yeah.
I activated them. Like the show's over. The show's over. You can go, but
Yep.
leave the leave the recording for a second while I look this up. I assume the merch link is here. Like maybe it's not even on
The
in
outro
footer.
music might be playing as you speak,
It
Daniel,
is.
not to pressurize you. Keep going. Quick.
Oh, it says service unavailable. That's kind of disappointing.
Cliffhanger.
But like the whole Cotton Bureau is down. Cotton Bureaus, like telemetry deck is up. All like telemetry deck is up, but Cotton Bureau is down.
Maybe they need a junior druid wrangler. Well,
all right, go there once it's back up. Buy a T-shirt. All the cost goes to Cotton Bureau. We make no profit on that, but send me a picture of you in that T-shirt, please.
Awesome.
Or
I'll roll the
merch.
outro music now, Daniel. So let's go.
All right, have a great day. Bye.